This is the terrifying story of a girl named Mia. Mia decided she needed a break from the noise of the city. Living in a crowded metropolis often made her feel trapped, and the beach was her escape, a place where she could think and breathe. The gray skyscrapers lit up by neon signs and streetlights were a perfect contrast to the peaceful ocean. The beach was nearly empty, as it usually was this late at night, and Mia loved that feeling, like the sea was hers alone. She walked barefoot on the cool sand, listening to the gentle rhythm of the waves. Faint sounds from the distance, car horns, laughter, and city life seemed far away, like they belonged to another world. She gazed out at the horizon, where the lights of distant ships blinked like tiny stars. It was a clear night with a full moon reflecting off the surface of the water, and Mia could feel the tension melting away. As she walked along the shore, something caught her eye. In the distance, where the waves met the horizon, she saw a faint silhouette. Someone. At first, she thought it was just another late-night walker like her, but the more she watched, the more something felt off. The figure wasn't moving. It stood in the water, completely still, as the waves washed around its legs. Mia stopped staring at the figure, feeling a chill run down her spine. She swallowed hard, trying to convince herself it was nothing. Maybe it was someone fishing or just standing in the water to relax. But something about it unsettled her. The stillness of the person, the way they stood there, blending into the shadows around them. She kept walking, trying to shake the feeling, but as she got closer, the unease only grew. There was still no movement. No one could stand that long in the water without reacting, without a single twitch, as if they were frozen in place. The waves grew stronger, the wind picked up, and the ocean that usually brought her peace now felt eerie, unfamiliar. After a few minutes, Mia decided to veer away from the shoreline, heading towards the dry sand, away from the figure, but something in her gut made her glance back one last time. A voice in her mind, a mix of curiosity and fear, whispered, "Look again." When she looked, she gasped. The figure was gone. The spot where it had been standing was now empty, just water and waves. Relief washed over her, convincing herself it must have been a trick of the light, a shadow, or an illusion. She turned to continue her walk. But then she heard it. A whisper, soft, almost drowned out by the wind. "Don't turn around. You've already seen me." Her heart stopped for a second. She froze in place, feeling an unexplainable dread spread through her chest. The sound seemed to come from the ocean, or maybe right behind her. It was too faint to be sure, but the tone was cold and deep, as if it came from the depths of the sea. Her blood ran cold as the words echoed in her mind. She stood there paralyzed, for what felt like forever, trying to figure out what to do. Her heart pounded in her chest, her whole body tensed, but she knew one thing for certain. She couldn't turn around. She couldn't. She began walking faster, almost jogging, trying to stay calm. The sound of the waves grew louder, crashing violently, but the whisper stayed in her mind, following her. The wind picked up, cold and biting, and she felt like the beach was changing around her. The darkness was getting thicker, the wind colder. Her feet sank into the sand as if the air itself was getting heavier. Instinctively, she looked down at the sand in front of her and froze. Alongside her own footprints, there were others. Small, barely visible, but they were there, walking alongside her. Her heart raced wildly. Finally, when she reached the steps leading back to the city, Mia couldn't hold back anymore. She sprinted up them, refusing to look back, refusing to see whatever might be behind her. The wind howled, but this time, the whisper was unintelligible. She ran, not stopping until she reached the bright lights of the city, where everything seemed normal again. That night, when she finally made it home, Mia couldn't sleep. She couldn't shake the image of the figure in the water, the eerie voice, and those footsteps that weren't her own. Even though she was miles away from the ocean, Mia felt like something was still following her. And every time she closed her eyes, she heard the same whisper. "Don't turn around. You've already seen me."